Welcome to class 5th. Okay, so today we'll go for the next concept of the solid state chemistry. Okay, so in the previous video we learned regarding the electrical properties, electrical just yeah electrical properties. Okay, so of the materials depends on whether they conduct or don't conduct. So that we have seen, we call it as insulators. Okay, or they are also called as dielectrics. This word you can use. Okay, dielectrics. Yes. Okay, what is this? Insulators, the current carriers. Usually we have seen that the current carriers may be the electrons or ions. Now the ionic conductivity occurs in materials. Okay, even in, it's called solid electrolytes. Solid electrolytes. Okay, and sometimes super ionic electrolytes, conductors, super ionic conductors, super ionic conductors, solid electrolytes, super ionic conductors, fast ion conductors, fast ion conductors, like this. Okay, so these all things we will learn it. So there are different examples and different concepts in all these three, all these I can say electrolytes, okay, or conductors. That is your solid electrolytes, super ionic conductors, fast ionic conductors. Okay, then dielectrics, as I said, so this also is very much important. You should know this dielectric. What is this dielectric? Okay, so these materials, I said there is a complete absence of electrical here. There is a complete absence of, okay, complete absence of electrical conductivity. Electrical conductivity. Okay, both electronic and ionic. Both electronic and ionic. Okay, so their bonding may be strongly ionic. So here the bonding may be strongly ionic, as we have seen in magnesium oxide or Al2O3, aluminum oxide, or it may be strong covalent in nature. It may be strong covalent in nature, like in diamond. Okay, like in diamond, or strongly polar covalent, in SiO2, silica oxide. Okay, so this is what about the dielectrics. Usually capacitors and all, they use these dielectric materials, okay, which store the charges. Okay, we are using this in the fan and all. So this is what we should know, this insulating property material, that also called as the dielectric material. Okay, so along with this ferroelectric also is there, ferroelectric materials. Okay, so these are the intermediate which act as an intermediate. These are the intermediate, okay, between solid electrolyte, these are the intermediate between solid electrolyte, in which ions migrate. Okay, in solid electrolyte, what will migrate? Electrolyte is there, so ion migrate, in which ion migrates, solid electrolytes. Okay, and the dielectric behavior, that is insulation. Dielectric behavior, they are acting as intermediate ferroelectric materials. Okay, and they have here the certain ions uh, are displaced. Okay, so here's electricity is due to conduction, is due to certain ion displacement from the structure, okay, to around I can say 0.1 angstrom, small displacement, that will also cause the conduction here. Okay, so this lead to net polarization, which is leading to net polarization. Okay, this leads to net polarization, and the dipole moment is created, okay. Usually they are having the perovskite like structures, okay, like BaTiO3, barium titaniate. Okay, barium titanium oxide. So this type of, okay, so this is some like the, we call it electricity, and there is pyroelectricity material, piezoelectric material. Okay, so here you can see ionic displacement occur. Here ionic displacement occur in pyro. Okay, occur due to spontaneous dispersion, and they vary with the temperature. The name itself says that pyro means temperature. Okay, spontaneous displacement of ionic occurs due to the variation in the temperature. Similarly, piezo electric material is there. So piezoelectric material, definitely there also we will be the displacement, spontaneous displacement of the ions here or atoms. Okay, and that may be due to pressure. Piezo means pressure, due to sudden variation of the pressure. Okay, so you see this piezo, so like this. Okay, and in ferroelectric, as we discussed here, in ferroelectric material, the spontaneous displacement is occurring here to, I said, 2.1 Armstrong to the level of this much, and this can be reversed back. That is either it can be reversed back. Okay, in ferroelectricity by the applied electric field. So if you apply electric field, so you can reverse back this what is displace this conduction mode here in ferroelectricity, and that we call it as that will give rise to the hysteresis. That's why we say that in ferroelectric material, if we remove the field also, it is going to act as a permanent magnets. Okay, because it is showing the hysteresis. Okay, so we can reverse back. So this is what about the ferroelectric materials. Okay, and we have seen how the graph of this what do you say 1 2 3 conductors. Okay, that is yttrium, barium 1 2 3, copper 307. Okay, so this is what we have seen. Okay, if you see the resistivity ohms versus if you see the temperature here 20 40, you can take it 6 8, then 100 20 or something like that. Okay, so what will happen for this one, I said you how what is a TC value, it is 90, you know, so it is a 90, it will like this resistivity, and then it will go like this. Okay, like this. So this is your metallic state, this is your metallic state, this is your TC of this, that is 90 Kelvin, and this part whatever is there, it is your superconducting, it is your superconducting state. Okay, so this is a structural you can say resistance of this superconductor. Okay, 1 2 3 superconductor as a function of temperature, Okay, so even if you put this of alloys and all, okay, so this also resistance per ohms, and this is temperature in Kelvin. Okay, you can put it here, and you can see here like this, then like this. Okay, similar like this. So this is for alloy. Okay, and this is pure metal. Okay, so this is resistivity of the metal. Okay, so it is a constant here, so it is a constant here. Okay, up to here like this is a constant like this, resistivity of the metal, and the alloy whatever is a constant up to below certain Kelvin here. Okay, below certain Kelvin. Okay, and and it causes no linearly, and then it shoots up linearly with rise in the temperature. With as you increase the temperature, so the like this resistivity increases like this. Okay, at certain temperature it is constant. So this is what you have to keep in the mind. Now the next concept is ionic conductivity. Okay, so in ionic conductivity, alkali halides, usually they have given for your syllabus, conduction in alkali halides. Okay, at higher temperature, so what happens at high temperature, high T, I will write high temperature, the ions have greater energy. You know, ions have greater energy. Which energy? Thermal energy. Greater thermal energy, and even vibration, and they vibrate, you know, vigorously, and they vibrate vigorously also, Okay, there is vibration. So even when this happens, the defect concentration will be high. So there will be defect concentration will be high during this case. Okay, and you can see, for example, if you see the conduction in NaCl, sodium chloride. Okay, if you see at nearly 800 degrees centigrade. Okay, near to its melting point, just below its melting point. Okay, so you can see its conduction is around 10 to the power of minus 3 per ohms per centimeter. This is a conduction 10 to the power of minus 3 per ohms per centimeter. Okay, whereas at room temperature, if you see the same NaCl, it acts as insulation. It acts as a insulator, that is having with 10 to the minus 12 per ohms per centimeter Cl. So near to melting point, it is minus 3. Conduction is little bit there, but to room temperature, you can see it behaves like an insulator. Perfect insulator is minus 12. Okay, the conductivity value if you see, so minus 10 to the power minus 3 per ohm per centimeter for Na plus migration in beta alumina. If you see beta alumina, the conduction of Na plus migration is 10 to the power minus 3 per ohms per centimeter C. So beta alumina. So that's why solid electrolyte we say, no. So this is what. So this was my light conduction you can see in beta alumina at 25 degree centigrade. At 25 degree centigrade. Okay. So this is observed also in the strong liquid electrolyte. I say we can say observed in strong liquid electrolyte. Okay, strong liquid electrolyte. So this is our liquid electrolyte. Yes. Now if you see the alkali halides, vacancy conduction is very much important. Vacancy conduction in alkali halides. For example, if you take this NaCl, okay, it's more than sufficient. Cl, NaCl, Na, NaCl, Cl I will write here, and Cl, Na, Cl, Na, NaCl, NaCl. So this is a lattice we have drawn it here, and we are learning vacancy conduction. So there is a vacancy here. Okay, now this sodium has hopping here. This will hop here in this vacancy. Okay, so there is a changes here. That's this Na is going to hop here, hopping here into this vacancy. That's we call it as a vacancy conduction. Okay, now the migration of cation, we say Na plus, no, these all are Na plus Cl minus. So this is structure is what migration of Na plus cation to the vacancy, okay, in the Na plus NaCl crystal here. Now here in alkali metal halides you can see cation after migration here. So since they are more mobile than the anion, okay, so they are very mobile because of small nature, and once they hop here, so what happens here, again hopping is very difficult here because there is no space is left here. Once it goes to here, there is no space left here. Okay, and that's why once Na plus is moved, no further movement will be there because there is no vacant sites now. Once it hops here, there is no vacant site here to in the nearby vicinity, and the migration of Na plus here in tetrahedral void, migration of Na plus in tetrahedral void or interstitial site is not so easy. It's not so easy. Okay, so that thing you have to keep in the mind. So it becomes very difficult now to Na plus to jump into this. Now here the cation vacancy mainly here, the cation vacancy mainly I will write here, the cation vacancy mainly act as a charge carriers or current carriers. Okay, they are mainly the current carriers, not Cl minus but Na plus ions. Cation vacancy, these vacancies are the not Na plus or this is vacancy current carriers is this vacancy sites. Okay, why this because the whatever the vacancy is created here, okay, it is surrounded by 12 Na plus ions. Okay, this is surrounded by the 12 Na plus ions. So vacancy created by so this is what, and now how the vacancy can be created. So vacancy can be created, you know, so that by treating the material or by treating material by heating, or you can see you can create this vacancy by addition of oleovalent impurity, addition of oleovalent impurity, addition of oleovalent impurity. Okay, for example, if you add a small amount of MnCl2, okay, manganese chloride, okay, in manganese chloride in NaCl, so it will lead to somewhat this defect here, that is your Na1 minus 2x MnX Vx Cl here. So this NaCl, if you add little bit this impurity, oleovalent impurity, so it is going to create a vacancy here. Okay, so here what is happening here, for each Mn plus 2, for each Mn plus 2, what will happen here, so you are associated, this each Na plus 2 is associated with the cation vacancy here. See, for cation vacancy, okay, such vacancy are formed by the are called some extrinsic extrinsic, you know, intrinsic and extrinsic, they are called as extrinsic. Okay, and not in pure it will not found in a pure, in pure it is not present, in pure it is not present. Okay, so this is a case of impure case, okay, where you are adding the MnCl2, you are creating the vacancy here. Now at a low temperature, what happens at low temperature, so low temperature, number of thermally generated intrinsic vacancy, okay, number of thermally generated intrinsic, number of thermally generated intrinsic intrinsic vacancy is small. Obviously, if you decrease the temperature, the intrinsic vacancy will be small. There is vacancy is less here because temperature is less. The movement of ions will be less, so vacancy will be small here. Okay, but increasing temperature, if you increase the temperature, okay, what will happen now? The changeover will be there from increasing the temperature. So from extrinsic to intrinsic behavior occurs. Okay, now from change in behavior will be there. Okay, change over from the extrinsic to intrinsic behavior occurs, and it is given by the Arrhenius equation. Arrhenius equation, that is your sigma is equal to a exponential minus e by rt. Okay, so here a is what? A is nothing but your pre-exponential factor. Pre-exponential factor. Okay, this is what? Okay, pre-exponential factor. Okay, and if you draw a graph now here, and if you draw a graph here like this, okay, of log of sigma versus 1 by t, you get a linear like this, and you can draw it in this way. Okay, so these are the temperature here. This is the intrinsic here, intrinsic. Okay, that is your E of m plus E of half. Okay, we will learn this, and this is your increasing impurity level. So you are increasing the impurity level. Okay, this is your extrinsic. Okay, so this is your extrinsic. This is your extrinsic. Okay, so you are increasing the impurity here. Okay, so this is what you get here. So this is the ionic conductivity graph here, doped NaCl crystal here, and Em here, whatever the Em you have written here, so that Em stands for your activation energy. Activation energy for cation. Activation energy for cation vacancy migration. Cation vacancy migration here. Okay, now here what happens, if you, yeah, definitely, so if you draw for this equation, that is your sigma is equal to a exponential minus e by rt. Okay, so we are going to get a straight line of a slope of minus e by r. Okay, slope of minus e by r. So at low temperature, so here, as at a low temperature, you can see here from the graph, you can see that the number of vacancies are dominating here, so by impurity level. Okay, so here you can see, okay, and is constant for a given impurity, and is constant for a given impurity concentration like this. Okay, and is constant for a given impurity concentration. Okay, at lower temperature. This is what you have to see from this graph. Okay, a set of parallel lines you can see here in each case here, compared to different I can say of dopant added here. Okay, so dopant, different concentration of different corresponding to different dopant added here. Okay, so in this example you can see extrinsic region. Okay, in this extrinsic region you can see the temperature dependence of sigma. Okay, the temperature dependence of the sigma here. So they depend only on the cation mobility. So they depend only on the cation mobility. They depend only on the cation mobility here. Okay, and that can be given by mu is equal to mu naught exponential minus em by rt. So only cation mobility, this is dependent, and they can be given by formula, that is mu is equal to mu naught exponential minus em by rt. Okay, so this is what. Okay, and now here activation energy, so this is important, em, that is activation energy. Okay, this activation energy is very high for this NaCl for hopping. Okay, for example, if I do this NaCl here, so if I draw structure of NaCl here, okay, so I will take NaCl, Cl, NaCl, Cl. Okay, now this is a small window created here like this. Now here, if there is a vacancy created, now don't take here Na here, now a vacancy created, now Na should hop from this, it will has to pass from this small window, and it should hop here. Okay, so it's very difficult here. Okay, if it is very difficult, so if you see here, you can take it as here 1 2 3. Okay, so here 1, we can take it here 2, and here 3, something like this. You can add it here. Now here 3 CLs are there, 1 2. Okay, so here 1 2, and third CL, I think 1, this is, yeah, here it is, I think. Okay, CL1, here is CL1, this is 2, you can take it as a 2, and this is 3. Okay, 1 2 3. So 3 Cl ions is there. In that, this Na plus has to cross here and go to this vacant site, okay. So this is very difficult, that is a problem here. Okay, so Na plus, now here, to in order to hop it here and go to this tetrahedral white small, so it required to squeeze, squeeze means it has to squeeze like this, like punch. Okay, it has requires to squeeze. So it should so that is not possible here. That's why it should make indirect route to go to here. Okay, that becomes, that's what the conduction becomes very difficult in NaCl. Okay, so to pass through this window, small window, is very difficult here. Now if I see the 3 Cl here like this, 1 2 3 Cl, I will can take it here 1. Okay, then here I can 2 3, and this is small cation here, join it here like this. Okay, 1 2 3, and you can take it here in this way. You can create a generate this one here. This is Cl Cl Cl. So this is your 1 2 3. Okay, we are creating a window here. Okay, like this, and making a triangle here. We have make a triangle here. This you can take it as a y, and this you can take it as a x. Okay, so let me see how we do this. Now what happens here, this for NaCl unit, all cell parameter, you see, for cell parameter for NaCl, the cell parameter, if you see, so it will be around what is it is given by A, or can be 5.64 Armstrong. Okay, so cell parameter, if you see, so this is given by 5.6764 Armstrong. Okay, for this bond here, NaCl bond length. Okay, and this bond length can be taken as A by 2 here, which is 2.82 Armstrong. Okay, 2.82 Armstrong. Okay, so that is of your radius of Na plus and radius of Cl minus. Okay, so A by 2 you can take it, that is your radius of Na plus, that is 2.82 Armstrong. Okay, so where you can see that Na plus and Cl minus, the ionic radii is Na plus, you can see it is a 0.95 Armstrong, and Cl minus is 1.85 Armstrong. Okay, these are the ionic radii of this Na plus Cl minus. Okay. Now if you see that the Cl minus, which is 1 2 3, as we have said here, 1 2 and 3, 2 and 3. Okay, Cl minus, so which is forming a closed packed layer. So they are forming a closed packed layer here, CP, closed packed layer, Cl minus. Okay, and the distance Cl1 to Cl2 is whatever the distance Cl1 to Cl2 is, I can give it as A by 2 whole square plus A by 2 whole square. Okay, A by 2 whole square, A by 2 raised to half. Okay, so this is a pathway. Okay, A by 2 whole square into A by 2 whole square. Okay, so this is a pathway here. Okay, pathway for Na plus migration in Na plus migration in NaCl crystal here. Okay, or lattice here. Now if you see here 3 which is coming to be here, so if I do put the value here, so it is coming to be 3.99 Armstrong. Okay, it is coming to be 3.99 Armstrong. About I can say 0.3 Armstrong, 0.3 Armstrong larger, 0.3 Armstrong larger than the given 2 Cl minus radius. Okay, so if you see 2 Cl minus radius, which is having the radius of 1.85, 1.85, if you do, so it is somewhat, it should come coming longer, higher side, 3.99. If you do this addition, it will be less, so it is coming somewhat 0.3 Armstrong longer than the 2 Cl minus ions here. Okay, so that is what you can do it. Okay, now the radii r dash of the window, how to calculate this radii r dash? This is a cation. Okay, Na plus. Now this radius and this radius, this is Cl minus radius, this is Cl minus, this is r radius. Now if you see the 2 are radius of Cl minus, okay, the radii r dash, so this r dash can be calculated. Okay, so how to calculate this radii r dash from the window, which is going to form by 3 Cl minus. Okay, So you what you do, you take it from the calculation, that is cos 30, because this angle is related to cos 30 here. So cos 30 degree, which is equal to x by 2, here this is, okay, x by 2 divided by y. So x by 2, if you substitute value, you get 1.995 divided by you can take it cos 30 here, okay, because what is y here, if you take the y here, so it is nothing but, I will take it up here, I will just write here r of cl minus plus r dash is equal to 1.995 divided by cos 30. So this I am substituting, this I am taking here, y I am taking here, and y is nothing but cl minus plus r minus, okay. Now what we want r dash, so therefore r dash we want here. So if you calculate now here, because cl minus we know the value, okay, cl minus we know the value, that is your 1.85. Now if you calculate the r dash of the window, so it from this if you calculate here, so 1.995 divided cos 30 degree, okay. So if you do this, if you substitute the value of cos 30, you will get 2.30 Armstrong, okay. You will get this answer 2.30 Armstrong. Now what we got here now, so r of cl minus plus r dash is equal to 2.30 Armstrong, we got it here. We want r dash, therefore r dash is equal to r, this value we know 1.85 something, so it will come around 0.45 Armstrong. See, we got the size of the window r dash, that is 0.45 Armstrong. So this size of the window is 0.45 Armstrong. So we got the value here, okay, 0.45 Armstrong here, okay. That's why. But what is r double dash? R double dash means what? This, what, where it is going to hop here, this one, this is your r double dash, okay. So this is your r dash. Now r dash is how much? 0.45 Armstrong. Now from here it has to hop to here, so small, how much this we will calculate. If we calculate this double dash, so that is your 2 RCL, okay, 3 that is your 2 RCL. So it is taking this into this one, so thrice it will come. Total paracycle you have to consider here, a by 2 whole square plus a by 2 whole square plus a by 2 whole square raised to half, okay. If you do this, if it is coming to 4.88 Armstrong, okay, 4.88 Armstrong it is coming. If you calculate for r double dash now, it is somewhat 0.59 Armstrong. This value will come to 0.59 Armstrong. See, that means this value is coming to 0.59 Armstrong, and this window is coming 0.45 Armstrong. This window is coming 0.45 Armstrong here. That means now therefore the jumping of, now the hopping of the Na plus here, from here to, from this window to another here vacant place, which is having 0.59 Armstrong, okay, and the window is coming 0.45 Armstrong. So from here to, from passing here is very difficult. Now jumping of Na plus is very difficult, that's why it is very difficult. Obviously from small we have to fit into big, okay, small hole is there and big. So this is 0.45 Armstrong, it has to pass through this 0.45 and it has to settle in the 0.59 Armstrong, okay, from this calculation whatever we have done it. So it is difficult for the Na plus to do that, okay. It has to squeeze first and pass through this vacancy cavity, and then it has to fit into the brick. So it is not possible, okay. So this is very difficult here, okay. And that's why what happens, it becomes very difficult for the first thing, okay. So it has to squeeze, and then it has to, from the gap of 0.45 Armstrong, and then it has to go into the 0.59 Armstrong. So that is very difficult. So that's why we say that the what do you say that the conduction in alkali halide is very difficult because of this mechanism here, okay. And don't worry about this calculation, so you can do smoothly, okay. So this is your perimeter, okay, a by 2. So this is your 2, what is that, I have given you 5.64 perimeter, a value 5.64 Armstrong, and this is your a by 2, that is your 2.82 Armstrong it comes here. And according to that you can calculate this, okay. R dash value is very simple, from cos 30, this you can do it, practice this. And this is R dash value, just substitute this, all this, you will get 4.88, then you can substitute the R dash value, it comes to 0.59 Armstrong, you can do it. Okay, so this is what you can see. Now finally, if you see the in this region, in the region, okay, in the extrinsic region, finally in extrinsic region, okay, conductivity depends on conductivity conductivity depends on vacancy both vacancy concentration and mobility of and mobility of ions. Okay, so in extrinsic region, it is conductivity is depends on both. Now that is your vacancy concentration as well as the mobility of ions, given by sigma is equal to Ne mu naught exponential minus Em by RT. Now in this case, it depends on both now, so it is depending on your mobility of the ions as well as vacancy concentration. So this formula you can use now. So in the high temperature, you can see in the high temperature, the intrinsic region, high temperature intrinsic region high temperature intrinsic region. Okay, so that is induced, thermally induced vacancy concentration is greater. Okay, thermally induced vacancy concentration is greater than the dopant. Okay, so that is what, and is given by the equation. So n is equal to n exponential minus Ef by RT. Ef by 2, what is this Ef by 2? Is that is activation energy. Again, Ef by 2 is nothing but your activation energy. Okay, minus Ef by 2 divided by RT. Okay, so this is what, and now the overall conductivity, if you see in intrinsic region, now I'll write here finally, overall conductivity in intrinsic region can be given by sigma is equal to A exponential minus Em plus Ef by 2 divided by RT. So this you keep in the mind. Okay, so the overall conductivity in intrinsic region can be given, which is also depends on the vacancy, thermal vacancy created as well as the mobility of the ions, is given by the is equal to A exponential minus Em, that is activation energy created, plus Ef by 2, which is created by the thermal vacancy plus thermal vacancy created, divided by RT. So this is the overall conductivity equation for in the intrinsic region. Okay, so this is the, hope you understood this much. This is more than sufficient in this video. In the next class we'll go for the next concept of silver chloride. Thank you.